All right, Cinepinions podcast, season 2, episode 1. This is Jordan here.
Yeah, and Kyle, both of us.
It's I feel rusty because it's been about 3 to 4 months since we've done a podcast.
We took a really long break, but it's really great to be back into it, and we are going to just dive right into some TV shows, some movies that are coming up. First thing that we're going to talk about is you just saw Imperium. Tell me about that movie.
So what if I told you that a movie exists where Daniel Radcliffe plays an FBI agent who goes undercover to infiltrate a white supremacist group?
So he really became an Auror.
I don't know what that means.
Isn't that what they call them in Harry Potter? The people who become like the police FBI agents?
I'm not that well versed on Harry Potter.
Did you read the books?
No.
Okay. So in the books,
if
you become like the secret agent of the wizarding world, I think they call that an Auror. So
sure.
If he plays an FBI agent, it's just proof that that happened.
I'll take your word for it.
Anyway, continue.
So Imperium. So Daniel Radcliffe, FBI agent. He's kind of one of those like desk jockey, or not desk jockey. Yeah, he's like one of those guys who's he does a lot of paperwork and a lot of intelligence and a lot of he's not like the greatest field agent. That's not really his thing.
Okay.
But he gets talked into by one of his supervisors to infiltrate a white supremacist group, and he just goes all out, shaves his head, gets tattoos.
Really?
Yeah, like
it's nuts.
Yeah, it's I don't want to spoil it, but it's just a really good movie, and it shows his range as an actor. He's got his American accent, and then I guess what's cool, so it's like, he's a British actor, so then he plays this FBI agent who has an American accent, and then he goes undercover as a white supremacist, so he's got that persona going, so he's like, playing dual roles almost.
Yeah.
But really good suspense. Really
Is it like
dialogue.
A twisty movie? Like there's some stuff you don't really see coming?
Yeah, there's some of that. It's just one of those movies, like, from beginning to end, I was super intrigued and super entertained and just, like, on the edge of my seat. Like, good suspense and thrill. Like, you don't know how he's going to get out of some situations or if he's going to get caught. His cover blown. One of the best movies I've seen in a long time.
Cool.
It was one of those movies. I don't like renting off iTunes because it's usually way
so
too
expensive.
It was like $7, but I watched the trailer and I was like, yes, there's no question.
$7 to rent it?
It was $7 to rent on iTunes. And it was just one of those, I didn't feel like checking out if Redbox had. It was just like, we just want to watch a movie and this looks amazing and worth the $7. So Imperium, check it out. I don't even know how it scored on like Rotten Tomatoes or like IMDb, but it had to have gotten a super high score.
Okay.
So that's the latest thing I saw. I didn't remember hearing anything about it when it was like released.
No, I don't even know what. Yeah, you're the first time hearing about it.
Yeah, but I watch it right after this show.
Go rent it for $7 on iTunes. Jordan said so.
Yeah, really good, worth it. What's the latest thing you saw?
Last time I was at the movies was Suicide Squad. And so the deal with that movie is if you follow the DC universe pretty closely, if you're a comic book reader or you subscribe to like a specific vein of DC, I've heard that you don't really enjoy Suicide Squad or really even like the new DC cinematic universe that much.
Yeah.
But for me,
it's very polarizing.
I don't really pay much attention to the backstory comics. I just wanted to see an entertaining film.
Your experience with comic book characters is virtually, and correct me if I'm wrong, but just anything TV or movie.
Yeah.
Like you didn't just grow up reading comics.
I didn't grow up reading comic books. I grew up reading Star Wars non-canon fiction.
That's legit. I mean, as far as like, on the nerd factor.
Like extended universe, yeah. Yeah. That's all I did. There was no time for anything else.
Yeah, I read a little bit of comics, and my knowledge largely comes from animated series like X-Men and Spider-Man, and Batman, the animated series. That's what I grew up watching because I grew up more in the country. There wasn't a comic book store down the road. Yeah. But I, grabbed a few when I was growing up. But I wasn't like, I don't have that street cred of the guy like, I had every Batman from, it's hard for me to have a true opinion. I mean, I've read a lot more as I've gotten older, which is kind of backwards, but just kind of the time we live in. But yeah, I think we're probably kind of the same in that our real knowledge comes from what Hollywood tells us.
All that to say, I really enjoyed it because I just went wanting to see a really fun, like, villain combination movie. And I thought Will Smith was great. I thought Margot Robbie did an amazing job. I liked Jared Leto's Joker. Because I told myself beforehand, and maybe some of y'all did this too, I'm not going to compare him to the Heath Ledger Joker. Yeah. I'm not going to compare him to the Jack Nicholson Joker. Like, he's going to be his own thing.
Yeah, and you want him to. You would hate if he was exactly like Heath Ledger's Joker. You know, it would be like, it wouldn't feel right. And
you just can't compare the two because they're played completely differently. It's not really fair to critique one against the other.
Right, and all the Batman versions we've had cinematically, like from Michael Keaton to Christian Bale to now Ben Affleck and the ones in the middle that we don't speak of,
George Clooney.
Yeah, like all those are just so different. The Batmans themselves and the worlds they live in are all very different from the one before them. Yeah, so it's hard. You can't really compare. Like, you can't even necessarily compare Jack Nicholson's Joker to Heath Ledger's and vice versa because they're from two completely different worlds with two completely different Batmans. Just it's different.
Different feels. Yeah,
it's kind of weird to compare them, honestly.
No, you're totally right. But yeah, Suicide Squad, I recommend it. Just don't go into it thinking it's something you know about or that you've seen before, because it's a fresh take.
You said that was the last movie you saw in theaters.
Yeah.
So for me, Imperium was the last movie I watched, which was on my TV. Before that, though, the last movie I saw in theaters was Independence Day 2.
Yeah. Let's talk about that.
That was
a trip.
Awful. I mean, here's the thing. I was going in not expecting much. I was like, okay, I'm sure it's not great, but it's going to be like aliens and explosions and like fun and like Jeff Goldblum. Like, it'll be dumb entertaining. Isn't that
what you got?
No, I was falling asleep. I was bored. I did not care about any of the main characters. I don't even remember their stories or their names. I didn't care about anyone, and the relationships were stupid. No one's motivations made any sense, and it was just empty. It was just like really just trying to coattail off of the success of the first one, and
I liked it.
You liked it?
I have a dissenting opinion. I thought it was like, for the same reasons I liked Suicide Squad, I liked Independence Day 2. Fully aware that the acting was subpar. Jeff Goldblum is fun, but like he's
always great.
Not the best story writing. But it was just fun to look at for a 2-hour session, you know?
Yeah, I was bored.
And I also liked The Crazy Scientist.
Yeah, I mean, he was okay.
It was fun to see those same characters come back. And even if, like... Yeah. I mean, let's be real. The plot line for Independence Day 1 wasn't much better. What about Star Trek Beyond? What did you think of that one?
I didn't see it.
Are you serious?
Yeah, I really wanted to. I just didn't get the opportunity.
Definitely worth seeing.
How does it rank with the other two?
So, Into Darkness, I think, was probably the best one. Because Benedict Cumberbatch as Khan is such a good idea.
You'll probably get a lot of hate because everything I read on the internet is like very polarizing when it comes to his character and that movie in general. Like, I hear a lot of people who hate that movie.
That's fine.
And I think that comes...
Continue to think that. That's okay.
You can be wrong, yeah, totally. Yeah. I think that comes from probably more from Star Trek fans, like, purists, which I am not. I never liked Star Trek until these new J.J. Abrams movies. Yeah.
No, I totally dug the first and the Next Generation.
Oh, okay.
Then after that, I sort of fell off. Like, I didn't really care. But
what would be cool to me as someone who's a non-Star Trek fan but is familiar enough with the lore is if and I don't know if they're going to make more, but have a young Jean-Luc Picard join Captain Kirk.
Oh, you totally could.
Cast Xavier, what's his name? The young Xavier.
Oh, you're talking about Fassbender.
Yeah, no. Yeah. Fassbender's Magneto.
Oh, I don't know who
that guy
Xavier is.
Y'all know who we're talking about. Cast him, shaved head, young Jean-Luc Picard. Wouldn't that be like? And then you can kind of transition.
Is he just gonna play all of that guy's roles in every movie?
Yes.
Like as a younger person.
Yes.
Cool.
He's chosen
Let's just sign that guy on for a lifetime deal.
Yeah, I'm okay with that.
You're going to do whatever Patrick Stewart's kid version is.
To be fair, I have no idea, other than Star Trek, what Patrick Stewart has done.
Okay, so obviously X-Men and Star Trek, but then he did a pretty cool version of A Christmas Carol. He played Scrooge.
Okay, well,
go
young
look that
Scrooge.
up if you don't know about that. Ted. For a brief moment, he was like the narrator voice.
Oh, Ted, is that the teddy bear?
Yeah,
I never
with
saw that.
Marky Mark.
Seth MacFarlane.
Yeah,
wrote it.
Yeah, and Marky Mark.
So we've touched on movies. Let's talk about TV for a minute because
yes,
summer lull right now.
So this is different than what we normally talk about because I know we like to talk about sci-fi, comic book,
and when you say
stuff.
that, you basically just mean the Flash. That's pretty much our bread and butter. I feel like.
Well, the Flash, Arrow.
Yeah, mostly the Flash.
Mostly the Flash. But no, the show that I want to tell all of you guys about.
Yes.
Is Suits. And this is not a new show. This is an old show.
Okay, go ahead.
It's in its 6th season. But I found out about it like a month and a half ago. For those of you who have Amazon Prime, you can get seasons 1 through 5 for free. They're doing season 6 right now. Suits is a show about this kid who is super smart, has a photographic memory. He reads anything and he automatically understands it, comprehends it, and memorizes it.
Impressive.
And he can recall it later on word for word. But he also did a lot of drugs in college and did something to get him kicked out. He basically got kicked out of school. He wanted to be a lawyer. Yeah. But he ends up being a bike messenger, doing a lot of weed, like a lot of talent going to waste. But one time, he basically stumbles into a job interview with a law firm and is totally straight up with the guy who interviews him. He's like, look, I am not here on purpose, but it's my dream to become a lawyer, and here's what I got. And he basically just schools this guy in his law knowledge, and the guy's so blown away he hires him. No law degree, no actual undergrad degree.
Yeah.
This firm only hires from Harvard. He did not go to Harvard. He did not go to any law school. So the rest of the show is just about him working at this law firm and learning how to be a lawyer, being really smart but having no degree and trying to keep that secret hidden just between him and the guy who hired him. And it's so good.
Tight.
Yeah.
This blows my mind, but you haven't watched one episode of Stranger Things, have you?
Not yet. It's on the list, okay? I still have to get through season 3 of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., and I'm so lost.
Don't waste your time with Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. when Stranger Things exists. Stranger Things is the best series that has come out in a long time.
How long?
Long, like, I don't know.
Like since The Flash?
It's hard to compare those, but it's really freaking good.
All right.
It's up there.
Add that to the massive list.
And the soundtrack is brilliant, and it's such a good show. And it's only 8 episodes long, so you can do that in a weekend,
in like one day.
And really, you could one day
just not show up to work.
Yeah.
I'm gonna watch all this TV. It's a great use of my time.
It's God, I don't know. It's I don't want to ruin any of it for you. So
I'm not highly recommend it.
Yes, just watch. I've watched it twice. I've watched the series twice.
You need a hobby. You have a hobby. It's taking care of a small child.
That is true. Super excited about Rogue One. The new trailer came out. It's coming. It's September tomorrow. So that means we have only a couple months.
September, October, November, and half of December. We got 3.5 months. It's gonna be a while.
Yeah, but I mean, we're just still getting out the high of The Force Awakens, I feel like.
No, I'm way past the high.
Oh, sorry. Junkie.
It has hit the theater. I have had it in my movie collection for a while. It's time
You'll
for
be getting
else.
episode 8 relatively soon after Rogue One, and then a Han Solo movie.
Yeah, let's talk about this Han Solo movie, because I am not entirely sure that that's what we needed.
You know what is the worst thing is when you tell a joke and it there's someone who doesn't get the joke, so you have to explain the joke, so then the joke isn't funny.
Yeah.
This
kind
is
of
what
makes you want to crawl in a corner.
This is what the Han Solo movie is. Han Solo, partly why Han Solo is great is because you don't really know much about him and his history and his past.
Right.
And the more you uncover, the less of a mystery it is and the less entertaining his character is, I feel, as a whole. So if you're just like explaining who he is and where he came from and explaining all these great, stories that he references in the movie, it's just kind of ruining it.
Yeah. I also think that, when A New Hope came out, Harrison Ford was what, late 20s, early 30s?
Yeah, he was 30s.
Do you honestly
he was the oldest one. But
but do you honestly expect me to believe that he's going to look radically different in the 5 or 10 years prior?
It's just unnecessary. I mean, I like what's cool about Rogue One is it doesn't require any of the original characters.
Yeah.
And the one character that it does for sure have is Darth Vader, who is a man in a mask. You know,
and you've got the real
and you've
voice.
got the voice.
Yeah.
That's why Rogue One, I feel like, as an idea for a movie, you know, obviously we haven't seen the movie yet, so we don't know if it's good. I'm sure it's going to be amazing.
But on paper,
but it works, and it makes sense because even though it is a prequel, we don't have. It's a different story.
Mm-hmm.
It's a side story that we've known about, but it doesn't take away from what we already have. It adds to. Where this is going to, I mean, technically it's going to add, but it's doing it in the worst possible way.
I want to know, what is the best TV show theme song to you? And it can expand across any genre, but what is your very favorite TV show theme song?
Does it have to be a song, or can it just be just music? Like,
yeah, music is fine.
This isn't going to mean anything to you because you haven't watched it yet, but Stranger Things has an incredible theme.
You gonna go with like the brand new show?
Hey man,
you're gonna be like that kid that goes and sees the movie and is like, "That's my favorite movie."
Yes. What's interesting is the band that wrote the music for Stranger Things is a band out of Austin.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. So
is it like hippie?
It's
hipstery?
It's electronic.
So it's hipstery.
But it's not like. Did you ever see Gilmore Girls?
No.
You're missing out. First of all, you're missing out on a great show. Second of all, you're missing out on a classic theme song.
I can't take you seriously right now. I don't know if it's best, but it's definitely the most catchy. And that's the Friends theme song. So no one told you life was gonna be this way.
What about the Seinfeld bass line? Yeah. Kind of weird.
We're looking to make the show better. We want to be able to have really good conversations both with each other and with what y'all want to hear. So yeah, get vocal, get at us. Tell us what you want us to talk about.
Tweet us.
Tweet us
at Cinepinions.
Comment on Facebook,
SoundCloud, Cinepinions.com.
Yeah,
Facebook.
We have a website. We haven't updated it in a while, but it's gonna get updated.
I will update it with this episode.
Yeah, for sure.
I need to write some content.
Cool. Well, until the next time, he's Jordan, I'm Kyle, and this has been fun.
Signing off.